hood and moved off towards the taxi rank. And that's when I saw him. The blind man. Raincoat, hat, dark glasses, white stick. He was standing at the back of a dark-coloured van, a transit, I think. The back doors were open and there was a heavy-looking suitcase on the ground. The blind man was struggling to get the case in the back of the van. He wasn't having much luck. There was something wrong with his arm. It was in a sling. It was still pretty early and the station was deserted. I could hear the two platform men jangling their keys and laughing about something, and from the sound of the big guy's clackety-clack footsteps I could tell they were moving away from me, heading off towards the escalator that leads up to McDonald's. I waited a little while just to make sure they weren't coming back, then I turned my attention to the blind man. Apart from the transit van, the taxi rank was empty. No black cabs, no one waiting. There was just me and this blind man. A blind man with his arm in a sling. I thought about it. You could walk away if you wanted to, I told myself. You don't have to help him. You could just walk away, nice and quiet. He's blind, he'll never know, will he? But I didn't walk away. I'm a nice guy. I coughed to let him know I was there, then I walked up and asked him if he needed any help. He didn't look at me, he kept his head down, and I thought that was a bit odd. But then I thought maybe that's what blind people do. I mean, what's the point of looking at someone if you can't actually see them? It's my arm, he muttered, indicating the sling. I can't get hold of the suitcase properly. I bent down and picked it up. It wasn't as heavy as it looked. Where do you want it? I asked. In the back, he said. Thank you. There was no one else in the van, no one in the driving seat, which was kind of surprising. The back of the van was pretty empty too, just a few bits of rope, some carrier bags, a dusty old blanket. The blind man said, Would you mind putting the case up by the front seats for me? It'll be easier to get out. I was beginning to feel a bit uneasy now. Something didn't feel right. What was this guy doing here? Where was he going? Where had he been? Why was he all alone? How the hell could he drive? I mean, a blind man with a broken arm? If you wouldn't mind, he said. Maybe he isn't completely blind, I thought. Maybe he can see enough to drive, or maybe he's one of those people who pretend they're disabled so they can get a special parking badge. Please, he said. I'm in a hurry. I shrugged off my doubts and stepped up into the van. What did I care if he was blind or not? Just get his suitcase into the van and leave him to it. Go and find somewhere warm. Wait for the day to get going. See who's around. Lugless, Pretty Bob, Windsor Jack. See what's happening. I was moving towards the front seats when I felt the van lurch on its springs, and I knew the blind man had climbed up behind me. I'll show you where to put it, he said. I knew I'd been had then, but it was already too late. And as I turned to face him, he grabbed my head and clamped a damp cloth over my face. I started to choke. I was breathing in chemicals. Chloroform, ether, whatever it was. I couldn't breathe. There was no air. My lungs were on fire. I thought I was dying. I struggled, lashing out with my elbows and legs, kicking, stamping, jerking my head like a madman, but it was no good. He was strong, a lot stronger than he looked. His hands gripped my skull like a couple of vices. After a few seconds, I started to feel dizzy, and then... nothing. I must have passed out. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in a wheelchair inside a large metal box. My head was all mushy and I was only half awake, and for a moment or two I genuinely thought I was dead. All I could see in front of me was a receding tunnel of harsh white light. I thought it was the tunnel of death. I thought I was buried in a metal coffin. When it finally dawned on me that I wasn't dead, that it wasn't a coffin, that the large metal box was in fact just a lift, and that the lift door was open, and the tunnel of death was nothing more than a plain white corridor stretching out in front of me, I was so relieved that for a few short seconds I actually felt like laughing. That feeling didn't last long. After I'd got up out of the wheelchair and stumbled into the corridor, I'm not sure what happened for a while. Maybe I passed out again, I don't know. All I can really remember is the lift door closing and the lift going up. I don't think it went very far.